because no one on The View had ever yelled at each other before.
The View, 20 years in the making. An ABC News special.
20? Wow!
Here's Joy Behar.
You'll have to pardon our appearance as the View studio gets a little facelift for our upcoming 20th season. Can you believe it? 20 years old? My God, I was almost 40 before I even thought about having any work done. Tonight, we're not only taking you behind the scenes, but also behind the most sensational stories, starting at the beginning, way back in 1997. You all remember 1997. Pokemon was all the rage, global warming was threatening life on this planet, and everyone was talking about a Clinton White House. Boy, things really have changed, huh?
9, 8,
7, 6,
5, o'clock, please! 3, 2, 1.
I certainly didn't think The View was going to be on for 20 years.
Hi, Barbara!
Where am I, girl?
It was a revolutionary show.
I don't know how you have oral sex by biting somebody on the back, but, you know.
Just to hear Barbara Walters say the words oral sex is worth the price of admission.
We highlighted that feminists could be anything and everything.
Why would I care what they say is sexy? I want to wear what I think is sexy.
11 a.m. on ABC was truly a wasteland.
Let's go to Hector. Hector, you are a window washer.
Correct.
The daytime network executives came to me and Bill Getty and said, got any ideas for a daytime program? I've always wanted to do a show with women of different generations, backgrounds, and views. Nobody thought it would be very successful.
The one thing that you shouldn't take is stuff from the White House.
If everyone stole something from the White House,
People thought, who wants to listen to a bunch of women? I thought women want to listen to a bunch of women. Well, this is when I have been very quiet. I think cards are there for us to take, not silver.
Where was it, and how did you steal it?
I was visiting.
excuse me. I'd like to know. Excuse me. Nope.
It just seemed like a very good idea,
B.S. Debbie.
as long as we didn't kill each other.
Oh, please. I want to tie you up, gag you, and put you in the bag. Bikini, you know there's no...
The key, of course, was to choose the right women with the right chemistry.
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 The audition took place in a hotel room.
In Midtown Manhattan. And we had one camera. I don't know, it was 20, 30 people.
It was my husband, Richard, who said, just go for the audition. It can't hurt you.
And that first group to sit down were me, Meredith, Star, Joy, and Barbara.
Joining me today is Debbie you got to pronounce your last name. Matenopoulos. Debbie Matenopoulos. That's a mouthful.
We gave the women a list of subjects from the newspapers that day.
Which do you think it would be first? Would it be a woman president, a Jewish president, or a black president?
A black Jewish woman.
Made a lot of news in recent weeks. I think it's going to make much more in the weeks to come. Ellen.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, folk in Tupelo, Mississippi are not going to watch gay women on television.
They were fantastic.
It was really like manna from heaven the first time we ever sat down.
You're all wonderful.
What was the television genius of the show is how distinct the characters were.
I was the working mom, the journalist.
Come on, I'm at least normal, I think.
She's a whack job. I love her.
She had a wicked sense of humor.
She's your ride or die girl. That's Meredith Vieira.
Yesterday you mentioned that you only had one bra, so I got your bra. Well, I'm a former New York City homicide prosecutor.
Star was the lawyer, the professional woman.
Star's favorite word was allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay.
But some of them have it. Joy was the comedian, divorced.
Do you know that if Elvis were alive today, he would weigh 450 tons?
Very smart, very opinionated.
Meet Debbie Matenopoulos. I swear to you, everyone had a description. The attorney, the comedian. My title was the young one.
I'm 22. I just graduated from NYU School of Journalism.
My darling little Debbie.
And then Barbara was Barbara. If you can't tease Babs, who can you tease, right? I think you got a lot on your mind.
And spend an hour with us.
I remember going to broadcast standards, people who tell you what you can and can't say, and they said, I'm sure your show won't be a problem because it's under Barbara Walters. And they said, well, you're not going to talk about, I don't know, politics.
We're going to start off talking about politics. You knew we would, didn't we?
Religion.
Muslims didn't kill us on 9/11? Is that what you say?
Abortion.
I don't want the government telling me what to do with my body.
Sex.
TNA, baby. Wait, you're not allowed to have the little skippy dippies on.
I go, yes, 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 yes.
Good morning, I'm Meredith Vieira. It is Monday, August 11th, and this is the first day of our brand new show called The View. This is Barbara Walters' idea. So if you don't like this show, don't call us. Call her at 2020.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Remind me to get an unlisted number.
And it was like all of a sudden, here are all these opinionated women on daytime television talking about real subjects.
First thing I hear on the radio is about JFK Jr. breaking ranks with the Kennedy clan.
Everyone thinks we were a hit from day one. Well, we weren't.
Barbara had to go like door to door to get stations to watch us.
Hello? I'm fine, darling. How are you?
We had to retool the show.
Double trouble. I'll bring the cards into your office.
And then we really did figure out that Hot Topics were what made the show different.
Something that is national. You know how I say I live in Wyoming? I don't live in California. What does this mean nationally? Does this mean the Republicans, not you lost so many jobs?
If we can try to hone this in some way to ask things like, who would have thought two women could be so nasty to each other?
One of the things that Barbara always said was, don't leave it in the makeup room.
No, she says she's probably not going to get out.
It was a misunderstanding.
Very good, thank you all.
When SNL did that skit, yes, we had definitely arrived. I didn't care how much fun they made of us.
Which one of the View ladies would you make out with and why?
Star, how about you?
I would make out with myself, Star Jones, because I am a lawyer.
Tracy Morgan, the bane of my existence.
I would make out with Meredith.
I just loved the fact that we had become part of the culture.
How y'all doing? Y'all good?
We treated women with intelligence and picked topics and issues that the viewers cared about.
We just won over the audience piece by piece.
We are delighted to have you. Just have a good time. Applaud when you want to. If you don't, we'll kill you, but...
Nobody was doing panel talk shows before The View.
So many people tried to copy it, some successfully, some unsuccessfully.
Sherry's having some issues.
The View was so popular, people like Whoopi, who's an EGOT.
You don't get to, no, she's not, no, honey, I'm famous. You are very,
And Rosie was a big star in her own right.
It's my first day on The View. I'm in the Meredith chair, and it's exciting.
Came on the show, but you have to remember this. It comes from Barbara Walters. They're coming on a show that's got some weight behind it.
Barbara Walters is the most historically significant female broadcast journalist in history. This creation of The View basically capped that because it did give women a forum to express themselves.
We have stereotypes about women, and they're the docile, sweet element of our world. And The View showed us that they have balls too.
have a great day and take a little time to enjoy The View.
Coming up,
If you're watching The View and it goes split screen, don't leave the room.
hot topics and hot tempers. The Rosie Elizabeth Wars.
Do you believe that, yes or no?
Excuse me. Let me speak.
The Rosie Trump Wars.
He's the moral compass for 20-year-olds in America.
And the star surprise. The exit nobody saw coming.
She took my hand and she dropped a bomb.
Next.
Happy 20th to The View.
Happy birthday!
20 years old?
Damn, I'm old.
Wow, that's one of my longest relationships.
The big 2-0. Congratulations. Happy 20th, View.
21st on ABC.
If I were to choose a theme song for The View, Taylor Swift, Shake It Off.
I don't want to hear it come out of your mouth. Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. Can I finish my sentence? Conversation. Opportunity. You don't give me anything.
This is called
Shake, shake, shake.
We've estimated that The View has tackled over 25,000 hot topics, and we never shied away from the most controversial issues. And some led to fights, tantrums, walkouts, screaming matches. And that was just in the makeup room.
Are you kidding me? We do have the right to still choose who we associate with. I refuse to associate myself with you right now. It's not right to say we got what we deserved on 9/11. It's not right to say
Excuse me, didn't that preacher say that?
Viewers love the feuds in the show.
You are a white lady telling me what is racist to you. Just
I know what homophobia and hatred looks like.
Not the same.
I have a black kid I raised, Whoopi.
And the feuds seem to be fueling the ratings. I could have lived without them.
I knew we had a really good show when very early on we interviewed RuPaul, and RuPaul started picking on what Joy was wearing.
You're wearing nice colors and stuff, but the slacks, you know.
Joy got genuinely angry at RuPaul and said,
You think that I'm going to take fashion advice from a drag queen?
Well, honey.
she was mad at her. They did not like each other in that moment.
Joy, you better take it from somebody.
And I thought, I don't see this stuff on TV. This is great.
Why are you turning on women?
Because it's against women, and you know it.
There is nothing these women don't talk about. There's nothing they can't talk about.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's...
They always...
But
they don't...
Latinos are not only the only people...
I didn't mean it like that. Come on. No, I would never mean it like that.
A lot of times feelings get hurt or passions rise up.
Still, I know it's a shock, but you actually were innocent until proven guilty.
When Whoopi Goldberg was going on about Bill Cosby, innocent until proven guilty.
What do you think the motivation then is for 40 women to come forth and accuse them of the same thing?
That somewhere there's a producer saying, can we go on? Do we have an animal segment?
I think a panel show is like soccer. Sometimes you pass it.
This is upsetting to me because...
Okay, just take a breath and let someone else talk.
Sometimes it's stolen from you.
Why do you care what I call my relationship?
Often, they're ahead of the curve. When you think about it, years ago, Whoopi was forcing conversation about the N-word.
Because it exists, and pretending it's not there by bleeping it is ridiculous.
When some people were afraid to talk about it off air.
When I heard you say it, it was fine. You said it a different way. When I heard you say it, I didn't like the way you said it.
Assault rifles are meant to do one thing.
Don't shush me.
Come here, bitch. Come to New York.
Actually, this moment is what I live for, so bring it.
Oh, can we get back to what you were attacking me for when I wasn't here? This is our house.
I read it like you're reading Mein Kampf again. I think you did.
You do not disrespect Barbara Walters.
I just don't appreciate the way you're talking to her.
For that, I will take off my earrings, I will put Vaseline on my face, and I will knock this out of you.
I really do believe that when people are watching television and it's live and they don't know what you're going to say or what you're going to do next, that is the best kind of television.
Do you mind? Excuse me 1 minute, you guys. I apologize for interrupting you. Something's been on my heart for a little bit, and after much prayer and counsel, I feel like this is the right time to tell you.
We all came out like it was a normal show, and suddenly she took my hand and she dropped a bomb.
I'm going to hold your hands right now, because as you might imagine, this might be the hard thing to do, okay?
Yeah.
The day that Star quit on the air, that was a horrible day to be there.
The show's moving in another direction for its 10th season, and I will not be returning as co-host next year.
None of us saw it coming.
Who am I going to fight with?
Nobody. Something tells me you'll have somebody to fight with.
Rosie O'Donnell began co-hosting The View on September 5th, 2006.
I'm taking my medicine, so everything's fine.
She introduced a whole new and challenging chapter of the program. It was like a roller coaster ride or a bumpy trip on a fast-moving bus.
Like it or not, here I come. Donald Trump is in the news again.
I went on various television shows and bashed Rosie O'Donnell.
There you go. You're dealing with two red-hot New York personalities.
He's the moral authority. Left the first wife, had an affair. Left the second wife, had an affair.
Not known for being shrinking violets.
She got on her show and went absolutely crazy.
And there he is, hair looping, going, everyone deserves a second chance.
Not known at times for being terribly, how can I put this?
I've always felt she's a degenerate.
Diplomatic.
Donald, sit and spin, my friend.
Oh my God, anybody see The View yesterday? It was ugly.
Big, fat, lesbian, loud Rosie attacks innocent, pure Christian Elizabeth.
This was kind of personal, so it became a big argument on the air.
Do you believe I think our troops are terrorists, Elizabeth?
I don't think that you...
Do you believe that, yes or no?
Excuse me. Let me speak.
You're in that control room and you're saying this is a discussion that is happening across America.
Did Iraq attack us, Elizabeth?
Iraq did not attack us,
Correct.
Rosie.
It's not just Rosie and Elizabeth. This represents our country right now.
And you would not even look me in the face, Elizabeth, and say, no, Rosie, why don't you take this opportunity like I'm 6?
Because you are an adult, and I am certainly not going to be the person for you to explain your thoughts. They're your thoughts. Defend your own insinuations.
I defend my thoughts.
Defend your own thoughts.
Right, but every time I defend them, Elizabeth, it's poor little Elizabeth that I'm picking on.
If you're watching The View and it goes split screen, don't leave the room because fireworks, anger, blood. It's like Game of Thrones, basically.
Poor little Elizabeth is not poor little Elizabeth.
That's right. That's why I'm not going to fight with you anymore, because it's absurd. So for 3 weeks, you can say all the Republican crap you want.
I'll tell you, that was not a political feud. That was an emotional feud, because they actually really loved each other.
It's so funny because Sherry Shepherd was just a guest host that day. The two of us were like, what is going on here? I said to Joy, we should pretend like we're walking out of here. And that's exactly what we did.
I understand what you're saying.
We'll be right back after this.
During the commercial break, Rosie said to me, I want you to be on the show every day. And I said, no, because y'all crazy. All of you are crazy.
Coming up, forget the elections. These are the real debates.
So do you believe you can be pro-life and a feminist?
And Bill O'Reilly.
What killed us on 9/11?
Oh, my God.
The real story behind that infamous walkout.
We just walked off on him. And Barbara did not like that.
I've never said this on television.
When one song to describe The View, it would be, let's give them something to talk about.
This bump, please.
Oh, yeah. I have wanted to make love to you for my whole life.
Barbara said that word.
As you've just seen, things at the Hot Topic table can get pretty heated. And can you just guess the most polarizing subject for our opinionated little group? That's right, politics.
Think about it. She worked to get children's health care. She worked for children's rights. That would get my vote right there.
Who would think
that a show with a bunch of women sitting at a table would become part of the political discourse.
This campaign, it's something different. There's like Trump and then Democrats and Republicans.
This is similar to me when they say, well, the media is biased. Yes, the media is largely biased against Republicans. Deal with it. That's true.
People say, you know, what you don't talk about at dinner parties are religion and politics. And guess what? We had to talk about politics almost every day.
What I don't understand is for people that don't believe in God, why it's so offensive. Some days it can be tough to be the lone conservative voice. I'm grateful for people like Elizabeth. She paved the way. They're for equal protection, but they're not for the word marriage being used to define the unity between a man and a woman and a woman. They're not. It's hard when it's 4 against 1. Planned Parenthood was consulted on this bill.
That's not the issue.
I know that I represent a certain part of America.
Please welcome Bill O'Reilly.
The View is an interesting forum for a guy like me because it's primarily a progressive show. I don't care what anybody believes politically as long as it's sincere. Look, whenever I'm in a situation that is contentious, and sometimes when I go on The View, it is that, it's interesting, it's stimulating, enjoyable. Listen to me because you'll learn. And I come out there, and then Whoopi and Behar looking at me like, you know, Dracula has just arrived. What's he doing out in the daytime? Every time I come on here, she's, how did this happen?
He started really talking about this sweeping generalizations about Muslims.
Why aren't we saying
it's inappropriate?
Why is it inappropriate when 70 families died? What are you
killed us on 9/11.
Oh my God!
I felt my behind being propelled out of the seat, you know, like a poltergeist.
You're outraged about Muslims killing us on 9/11.
We just walked off on him. And Barbara did not like that.
You have just seen what should not happen. We should be able to have discussions without washing our hands and screaming and walking off stage. I love my colleague. It should not have happened.
It's our show. Make him walk off.
I've never said this on television, but I will say the honest truth is when Whoopi and Joy walked off the set, I said, this is great. This is great. Maybe Elizabeth can interview me the whole hour.
President Bill Clinton, Vice President Dick Cheney, John McCain.
Any candidate worth their salt should not be afraid to come on this show.
My very favorite moment was, of course, when Hillary Clinton came on The View.
Make up your mind and let me know what's happening here.
Well, that doesn't put any pressure on me, does it?
You go on thinking that it's going to be very lighthearted and almost irreverent.
Why are you scared to go on shows like this rather than on Meet the Press?
Meet the Press is easy. You guys are tough.
And you just get socked with some really serious political questions.
Senator, the last time you were here, I pressed you on your gun position.
Yep.
And I'm going to do it again.
Sonny went right at him very aggressively on the issue of gun control and on his support for a bill that would have shielded gun manufacturers from liability.
What other industry allows that kind of blanket immunity when children are hurt?
Do you believe you can be pro-life and a feminist?
Yes, I do.
They're not mutually exclusive.
No.
There are ads running from your campaign. Now, we know that those 2 ads are untrue. They're lies. And yet you, at the end of it, say, I approve these messages. Do you really approve them?
Actually, they are not lies.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume?
The Donald Trump interview in 2011 was remarkable. First of all, he comes on and he's greeted like a friend. It's a very friendly interview. And then suddenly it takes a turn when Trump brings up the issue of President Obama's birth certificate.
There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh my God!
That's a terrible
That is just
I'm telling you. Donnie, I love you. I'm telling you.
I love you too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages. If you're running for president of the United States of America, when you talk about Mexicans being rapists and murderers, when you talk to women, if he had spoken to your wife the way he's spoken to some of these women, would you take that, sir?
Let me tell you something. When you're very nice, you're very respectful, and not get into all these issues, where does it get you? It gets you where it got me. Nowhere, okay?
No.
You were on with us, President Obama, when you were running. Come on with us again. President Obama, if you're doing everyone, do us.
Do us.
We were the first daytime show to have a sitting president.
Do you really think that being on the show with a bunch of women, 5 women, who never shut up is going to be calming?
That is the... Look, I was trying to find a show that Michelle actually watched.
I think The View really opened politicians to a thinking woman's audience.
The View is like a must-stop for politicians. They have to. If you haven't done The View, then...
20 years in the making. Once again, Joy Behar.
You know, as different as our co-hosts are, they have one thing in common. No one is shy, especially when the hot topic is sex. Take off your clothes.
Every time we went out to that table, you never knew what was going to transpire. Have you noticed how much Barbara seems to be getting into this when we talk about sex?
Sex! A lot of sex.
Why's my big black box so much bigger than yours?
Would you like me to take it out?
Pull it out. Pull it out. Pull it out.
I don't have underwear on right now.
Just start chatting with them.
Oh, baby.
Just start rubbing and going.
I cringed at things Joy and Meredith said almost daily.
I think really falls into an issue about privacy because, I mean, I know from my experiences that it just, you...
Spit it out, Monica. You know you want to say it, Joy. Say it.
I'm a Southern girl, and the things that they would say, you can't say.
I will whip it out again if you do the same.
Well,
That's all I have to say.
He only pulling out.
My raunchiness horrified them? Oh, please.
We tried to get Barbara to talk about dirty stuff.
I'm sure you've seen her share of penises, lady, all right?
I became the panel prude. I'm shocked by all of it.
She's scandalized.
Barbara says that she's the prude on the panel.
Not even the fact of being a married man.
Oh, God.
Okay, so maybe things have gotten a little personal over the years. I mean, I know more about Barbara Walters' sex life than her husband's at this point. But you know what? Over time, we've become more comfortable sharing some of our most intimate stories with each other and with you, our loyal voyeurs. Sorry, I mean viewers.
I just got ink.
I think viewers get fascinated with the women of The View. They really invest in our stories. They invest in our lives. So when something happened, it was big news.
I was just wondering if there's anything new, Elizabeth?
Just a couple things.
Like anything specific?
Like I'm totally 3 months pregnant.
We all talked about personal aspects of our lives. We were kind of a family, sharing our good times and bad.
We got to talk about our friend and our brother, Robin Williams.
Exposing your personal life was probably the toughest part of being on The View.
Can we talk about my position on another thing?
Yeah.
Finding a man. We've been dealing with this, right?
And I don't think we fully appreciated that we were opening ourselves up. We got comfortable talking about the things we liked, we loved.
What a wedding it was.
I had the time of my life.
Oh.
And it invited criticism.
I'm not a skinny girl. I'm never going to be a skinny person, but I like the way I look better now.
Once you invite people into your bedroom, you cannot uninvite them. I'm not sure if we knew the path that we were going down, if we would do it all the same again. I know I wouldn't.
I did have a little interlude with my ex during my 7th month in the car. That is always a mistake to gush about how much in love you are with somebody, because you never know when Mr. Divorce is going to veer his ugly head in there, and then you have to eat your words.
I mean, heck, I came to the table sharing about how I was single.
I'm horny!
Then I shared I was divorced. Then I was single. Then I shared I was dating.
She is now engaged.
Then I got married. Then I got divorced again.
Girl, don't tell me about divorce being too expensive. I'll tell you about divorce being too expensive. Damn. There's your honey.
Don't know how many words I can get out without crying. It's hard, and I'm a mom who misses her kids. It takes a great deal of courage to be not only on the show, but to share with all the viewers. It's millions of people you really open up your life to. But the greatest part of that is when you can encourage someone or inspire someone because you're telling someone out there, hey, you're not the only one.
For 10 years, my psychologist had said, I think you're depressed. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm just going to pull myself up by my bootstraps, and you don't know, but a lot of people in your family have it. Oh, you don't know me. I can do it, and I'm funny. And I started taking medication. And I want to say to everyone out there who's afraid of the stigma of taking medication, that it saved my life.
I'm married to a smart dick, Richard.
Yes.
No, I am. His name is Richard Cohen, and he wrote an article in the New York Times over the weekend that I had talked about that he was going to do on living with multiple sclerosis, which he has had since he was 22.
It was courageous for Meredith and her husband to be so open with his disease, and I believe it helped the national conversation about multiple sclerosis.
They asked him to give an honest appraisal of what his life is like, and it's weird when you see it back because he talked about the fact that he stumbles a lot and people think he's drunk. He didn't put that in, but they just assume he's an alcoholic.
My biggest struggle is that I wear my heart on my sleeve, and if I was talking about Richard's health or the fact that I'd had a lot of miscarriages, what I never really wanted to do was start crying. That for me was always a struggle, to rein in it enough that you don't become just a puddle of tears.
Would you like to start things off by making an announcement?
Later this week, I'm going to have surgery. to replace one faulty heart valve. When it turned out I had to have open heart surgery, I told the audience, and they responded by sending me thousands of letters. I have known of this condition for a while now, and my doctors and I have decided that this is the best time to do the surgery.
You know, Barbara sort of downplayed it, I thought. She didn't want to scare herself or to scare anybody else about it.
I was truly moved at the outpouring of concern and support. You are not done with me. I can still Elizabeth! Why did you do Elizabeth?
We're still going to come bug you at home.
Daytime television, unlike a lot of other television, the more you give of yourself, the more you get.
I wanted to tell all of you because you're the people I'm with every single day.
Yes. It would be We Are Family. I'll always have your back. We may be dysfunctional, but we're still a family.
Hi, I'm Barbara Walters. Let me in.
Oh, you can't tell us apart, right?
I love this show.
For all of us, the view is a journey, and it doesn't really stop.
We don't want to just go after. You do have a lot of good quotes, so you're like a fortune cookie.
Yeah, I know. I think that the show's been on the air for that long a time because of the spontaneity of the show.
And it seemed like everybody was bringing their kids. Idris Elba brought his daughter, Susan Sarandon brought her twins.
Yeah.
I was been waiting. Nobody got that joke? Nobody got the joke?
It's all in the delivery, Paula.
Make a right turn.
No, I'm
sorry. No, you're right. Oh, God.
My daughter put it best when she said, "At last, Mom, people know you have a sense of humor." It's estimated, no, I'm serious, that about half of the women watching us today have had trouble having an orgasm. It is a very serious problem.
I'm totally embarrassed.
If you're going to sit here and giggle, I'm going to send you out of the room.
I have to leave. I have to leave.
I will never forget the first day that I showed up. And one of the first things Meredith Vieira asks me is about my sex life. My dad didn't know that I never had sex until I got the job on this show. He was just in complete denial, you know? I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for The View.
My favorite guest interview was Miss Piggy. Are you dating anyone?
I'm dating everyone.
She was so sassy. She made me smile so much.
I had the 3 kids on once, and we had brought in somebody who had cooked up so-called healthy food. And they were the judges. You assume they're going to be polite, but they're my children.
23 vitamins and minerals are in this.
Part of me was like, oh my God, this guest. And the other part secretly loved it because it was true. The stuff was terrible.
People come up to me all the time and just start talking to me. They can see themselves in me. They can see themselves in Whoopi. Because I understand. Go ahead, you do look like me.
I learned in increments, you have a voice. Use it.
To grow here and to learn, I have to say my boss, Barbara Walters, pushed me. I cried in my dressing room for 3 years, going, why am I at this table? I don't know what I'm doing. It really, truly, I found out who Sherry Shepherd is.
We will try to continue to bring honor to what you started.
I just want to say thank you to all the cast here and the crew, and mostly to Barbara Walters. I want to thank her for making the show and letting me be on it twice.
Not a lot of shows stay on the air for 20 years that are driven by women. That's really worth celebrating. And I give that credit to everybody in the show, but especially to Barbara for having the vision that she had.
And take a little time every day to enjoy The View.
Oh, this is perfect. It's going to be an interesting 20th season, and I hope you'll join us for our premiere on Tuesday, September 6th. Until then, thanks for watching, and take a little time to enjoy the, oh, you know the rest.